Hello and welcome to Gardening with Ben. This is our 9th episode of this series. They're building up quite fast now, so if you've only just found us, feel free to check through the other episodes and find out all about what we've been talking about. The first topic was all about gardening with Ben and how I started gardening, and the sound quality is not as good on that one as I didn't have a proper microphone then, but the sound quality should be okay from now on. So yeah, lots of episodes on there for you to check out. Also, there's episodes about what to be planting in November, what jobs you need to be doing, and lots of other things going off. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a coffee or a tea, or if you're on the allotment, have a little break and listen to today's topic. Today's topic is going to be about planting garlic and growing garlic. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this topic, and let's get on with the show. So growing garlic can be very easy to do. It doesn't take much effort or necessities to help get some good crops from the garlic. Now, like I said, I've been growing for about 15-16 years now, and the first time that I grew garlic, I'll tell you this little story. I got 2 bulbs in a packet from the garden centre, which said garlic to be planted round now in October, November time. And I got the 2 packets and I thought, 2 bulbs, and I saw them and I thought, wow, £2 for 2 garlic bulbs, and that's all I'll get from it. And I thought, this can't be right whatsoever. So I asked around and they said, nope, you've got to split them up into the cloves and plant the individual cloves. I thought at first that you just planted the bulbs. Tell me if you've done the same as well when you started gardening. But yeah, you split the garlic up into the individual cloves and then you plant it, so you could get possibly about 10 cloves from each garlic, and then obviously plant them and you will gain more garlic from them. So yeah, that was my little funny story of when I started gardening. But now I know, and I tell other people what to do. It still makes me chuckle now, thinking that it was £2 just for 2 bulbs, and that'd be the garlic that would grow, but no. So yeah. So the first thing you need to know is about acquiring the garlic to plant. You can obviously buy garlic from garden centres, from DIY shops, and also online at various shops. I seem to have left it a bit too late for buying my garlic. As I've been talking about, I've been doing big projects on my allotment, getting it all in shape and getting it better for next year. And it slipped my mind that I should have bought some garlic, and it should be going in now. So I've had to go and buy some garlic bulbs from the supermarket. Now, you can grow them from the supermarket bulbs, but the only issue is if you're growing garlic from the supermarket bulbs is that they're not disease-free. They could carry diseases for all you know, and they could affect later crops, but you can still grow them. So I've purchased 5 garlic cloves from the supermarket. Thankfully, they were all loose, so I went for the biggest ones with the more cloves on them. So then I get more garlic plants from them, and they were all the same price, so I went for the biggest ones to get the more cloves to plant. So yeah. When you're choosing the varieties of the garlic, there are obviously the common garlic which you use in your meals, and like I say, you can get them from the supermarket or also from the garden centres, etc., and they will look like a common garlic. There's also a variety of garlic called elephant garlic. Now, these are about 6 times bigger than a normal garlic, so you'll get a bigger bulb grown and more cloves for you to cook with. The thing is, though, elephant garlic is not actually a variety of garlic. It's actually a variety of leek. Did you know? But they do taste similar to a garlic, and they're not as strong as a garlic, but they've got the same elements to them. So you can grow the elephant garlic if you're wanting a massive, bigger bulb to grow. So let me know if you've tried growing an elephant garlic before. It's not something that I've tried growing, and I've not got my hands on one, so I won't be growing any this year. But I'm just sticking to the regular, normal garlic this year and seeing how I get on with that. If you haven't heard already, the place where I'm recording these podcasts is an app called Anchor, and it's totally free. They also put your podcasts on multiple platforms like Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts. Straight away, you can also schedule the time that you want it to go on, which is fantastic. There's also creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer, so you can record your podcast literally anywhere you want. You can also make money from your podcasts as well, with no minimum listenership whatsoever. So the more times it gets played, the more times you can earn money from it. And there's everything you need to make your podcast all in one place. So if you download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm, you can get started with your free podcasts. So now comes the time to planting garlic. As I mentioned, October, November and December are the ideal times to be planting the garlic, as that cold frost helps split the bulb and gets it going into its individual cloves. And without that cold, it won't split and it'll just end up growing as one bulb and it won't develop properly. So you need to be planting your garlic preferably now in your allotments and gardens. Garlic is very easy to plant. All you need to do is split your garlic up into its individual cloves. Be careful when you're doing it that you don't break any of the cloves, as some can quite easily snap and you'll end up losing one of your bulbs. So the more bulbs you've got, the better the amount of crops you will get. So to plant the garlic, all you need to do is prepare your soil beforehand by making sure that it's weed free, that there's no rocks and rubble in there. Make sure it's all clean and fresh. You can add some general fertilizer to it, but make sure it's well rotted and that it's old and not fresh manure, as that could rot the bulbs. So mix that into the soil, and then all you need to do is get a cane, mark off where you're going to be planting your garlic bulbs. Now these need to be planted around 10 centimeters apart from each other. The reason why we plant them with a space in between is so that you can keep them weed free with a hoe. If you leave a bit further than 10 centimeters, it will make it much easier to hoe in between the plants, because if they're too crowded together, you won't be able to get that hoe in between to keep them weed free. And garlic won't like competing against the weeds. The weeds will take all the nutrients and all the water from the soil, and you will get a smaller crop and they won't do as well. So make sure it's all raked and weed free, and you can plant your garlics. Now plant them in rows. The rows need to be about 30 centimeters apart from each other. Again, this makes it easier to weed free, and also if you need to get down in between the aisles, there's enough space for you to step down between each garlic and get to the bulb if needs be. So to plant your garlic, you just need, the garlics will have a flat bottom and a pointed top, the cloves. So the cloves need to be just under the soil, so that the pointed bit is just peeking through the top of the soil. Not much of it, just a tiny little bit. And that's how you plant garlic. Nice and easy. Get all your garlic planted, and then you can just leave them for a bit. Now it won't take long for the garlic to start sprouting and sending their shoots out of the top of the cloves. Once this starts to happen, this will attract the birds to your plot, and they will start pulling the garlic up. They'll start biting the tops off the top of the shoots and hence damaging your garlic bulbs. So you really do need to make sure that these are netted over to prevent any pigeons, because pigeons will absolutely love this, and make sure they're bird proofed to stop anything from pulling them up, because if the birds peck the tops off them, you've probably lost a bulb and it probably won't grow properly then. So make sure they're kept netted over and protected. Also, you might find if you've got squirrels nearby, they might pull them up and mess with them. So make sure they're protected from wildlife if possible. So to look after your crops, all you need to do is, like I said, you need to keep them weed free. Garlics don't have big roots on them, so they don't go deep down into the soil. They stay quite close to the surface. So that's why I was saying they don't like competing against the weeds when they're growing. So make sure they're kept weed free around the plant. But be careful when you're hoeing that you don't damage any roots around the garlics. You might be best off just doing it by hand if possible, or with a little mini fork just to ease the weeds out, but keep on top of them, and that will keep the garlic in good health. Obviously, keep them watered in dry periods, as you need the water to help make the bulbs swell. But once the bulbs have got big enough, you can stop watering them, as that could cause them to rot as well. So you've got to be careful with the water, but then you've got to keep them watered. So it's quite tricky, but you should be able to get on with that. So yeah, that is how you look after your garlic bulbs. Now, to know when to harvest your garlic, the garlics send out a telltale sign to say, I'm ready for picking, I'm not going to grow anymore. And this is by the leaves starting to turn yellow, they start to droop over, and they start to die off. That means your garlic are ready to harvest. And to harvest them, all you need to do is gently get a mini fork, handheld fork, and gently ease them up out of the ground and shake off any soil what's on the plant. And yeah, that is how you harvest your garlic. Nice and easy. So once you've harvested your garlic, you'll want to be storing them, as you won't obviously want to eat them all at once. The ideal thing to do with garlic is to tie them up and hang them somewhere dry and cool. Not in a kitchen idea, like somewhere like a shed or a garage, somewhere that's nice and cool and dry, that they won't get wet and hopefully they won't rot. So hang them up and keep them dry, and then you can use them as and when you required. And garlic will store for quite a while, so you should be okay. If not, if you've grown too much garlic, feel free to hand it out to your family and friends, and they'll definitely appreciate that. So now, after listening to this podcast, you should be well aware with knowing how to grow garlic, how to look after your garlic, and how to harvest it and store it. I hope you found these tips useful. Like I said, November is the ideal time to be planting that garlic. So if you do need some garlic to plant and you can't find any in the garden centres, go across to the supermarket and choose the best looking bulbs. But remember, they could carry diseases and affect future crops, so it's the choice that lies on you really. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Make sure you click the subscribe button. If you're not following us on social media, check out Gardening with Ben on Facebook, Instagram and YouTube, and feel free to say hello on my Facebook, as it's always good to see new people and join our gardening community. And also check out our website, which is www.gardenandallotment.com, where there's lots more tips, advice, videos and everything all on there. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and remember, keep gardening.